If you thought the MCU hype was dead, think again, because millions of people just watched a 5.5-hour video of chairs with some names on them. I can only assume there were several notable absences because they ran out of chairs. So what better to do than rank every announced cast member / character by my excitement to see them in Avengers Doomsday, releasing in just over a year, which doesn't fill me with confidence at all. We'll go in terms of what team the characters are associated with, so let's start with the mainline MCU Avengers adjacent. Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Now, it's no secret, Thor Love and Thunder damaged this character and all the great work that had been done throughout Ragnarok and Avengers 3 and 4, but now, Thor is the only one of the OG 6 Avengers to have been announced for this movie, which I imagine will have him taking on more of a leadership role than in the past, and I'm ready to see him back with directors and writers that don't intend to make every single line a joke that doesn't land. So I am confidently putting him in A. Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Again, solo movie wise, not a great deal was done for this new characterization of Cap, but I take it that he will be the leader of the Avengers in these next two films, and much like with Thor, that's the part that excites me. His interactions with various other members of the team, how the Russos handle him now that he's evolved from the Falcon to Captain America, it's certainly another exciting prospect, and I'll slide him in the A tier as well. Danny Ramirez as Falcon 2. Okay, this one genuinely surprised me, but not in a good way. He was serviceable in Brave New World, but I guess the Avengers are desperate enough that they're just letting in anybody. I can't imagine he'll be a prominent character. I'll put him in a D. Letitia Wright as Black Panther. Wakanda Forever was good, even though the absence of Chadwick Boseman could in no way be filled by any amount of effort, but that movie did enough for Shuri's character in terms of her taking up the mantle, although I think they're definitely setting up another passing of the torch for Black Panther 3 and beyond with T'Challa Jr., maybe some sort of time skip vortex situation, but with this Avengers appearance, there's potential for her to stand out. The Russos perfectly introduced T'Challa in Civil War, and now they've got the challenge of making Shuri a prominent Avenger. I'll slot her in at B. Winston Duke as M'Baku. This is another supporting character of a main hero. I enjoy M'Baku, but I can't say I'm overly excited. Another one for the D tier. Tenoch Huerta Mejia as Namor. Now, this was the first genuine surprise of the cast list because I thought he was one and done. He was another quote-unquote mutant being introduced in the MCU and a pretty decent villain, but I'm intrigued to see what they do with him in this movie, especially if Sue Storm is gonna be in this and they acknowledge their history in the comics. If he's a main player, maybe even an A, but I'll be cautious and put him at B. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. Look, we all love Paul Rudd, but Quantumania sucked and I really don't know what there is left to do with this character unless this movie's plot is tied up in the quantum realm again, and I for one have had enough of that shitting realm, especially now that we've moved past the whole Kang situation. I love Paul Rudd, but I've seen enough of Ant-Man. D tier. Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. Another victim of the throw everything at the wall but nothing actually sticks part of Phase 4. His solo movie was utterly mediocre and MCU formula driven, but I liked his character enough to think, yeah, I'd like to see this guy in a bigger team interacting with others, so that translates to the C tier. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. As soon as the Loki series ended, I figured Loki will be a main player in the next Avengers movies as this new overseer of the multiverse, god of stories, whatever. Loki is one of my favorite MCU characters and his reunion with Thor will surely be a great moment in the film. I am very curious on how he fits into the overall story. It's definitely going to be a tussle for screen time and I can hardly predict how much he'll have, but Loki is an easy first S tier entry. So that's the general Avengers type characters, and now we get to the Thunderbolts because spoilers, apparently everyone but Taskmaster will survive that movie and these next rankings are obviously pre-Thunderbolts. I can vaguely predict that the end of that movie will tie in directly to Doomsday, so get ready for the first true Doomsday tease in that movie. Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier. Similar to Ant-Man, love Sebastian Stan, love the character. I just don't know what more there is to be done with this character outside of him taking up the shield, which isn't happening anytime soon. Again, this is pre-Thunderbolts. Maybe he's the clear standout of that movie. But for now, I'll put Bucky in the C tier. Wyatt Russell as US Agent. This next Thunderbolt has had just the one appearance, but I think he's an interesting enough character that I'm curious about where they take him. Very dependent on what happens in Thunderbolts, but there's a lot to explore. Another cautious C tier placement. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova. Look, she should probably be in the C tier as well, but I love Florence Pugh and I would love for nothing more to see her interact with the greater MCU cast outside of the street level heroes she's had alongside her so far. And I have a pretty good feeling that she'll be the clear standout of Thunderbolts because Flo is just that good in this role, so she gets the B tier. Lewis Pullman as Sentry. This was another genuine surprise, but I know nothing about this guy other than he turns people into PNG files. We've got a whole movie to get to know him. How he fits into Doomsday is a bigger question. I'll put him at C with some of the other Thunderbolts. David Harbour as Red Guardian. Look, there's only so many super soldiers one can take. And I wasn't crazy about his character in Black Widow. He could be great in Thunderbolts. I just don't know what he offers to an Avengers movie. I'm hoping Thunderbolts proves me wrong. D tier. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. If anyone can be redeemed in Thunderbolts with some great characterization, it's Ghost. You might remember her vaguely from her one appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but she could absolutely benefit from a team-up setting. But I haven't seen that movie yet. So for now, another D-lister. Moving on to the Fantastic Four, and you know what, just put them all in A. I'll even put Reed in S because I know that Secret Wars is more of a Reed Doom story. I have no reason to think that this movie will fail. It looks fantastic and putting them in with the others can only lead to greatness. Don't have to think about that one too much. And now for the real old heads, that being the X-Men. Which universe of X-Men are these? Who knows? Maybe this is the new Days of Future Past timeline, which is maybe the same one where Monica ended up in after the Marvels, but I'm not ruling anything out. So we start with Kelsey Grammer as Beast. He did not get his chance to shine in X-Men The Last Stand. We saw him very briefly in the Marvels post-credits scene, so Doomsday will be the one where we get more of him. But this is a perfectly cast role that I want to see more of, so to me, that sounds like enough for a comfortable B. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. This man is 84 years old. We've seen him die on screen 3 times, and I'm not ruling out a 4th. But damn it, if I won't show up to see him give us some words of wisdom and to see him share the screen once again with Ian McKellen as Magneto, who is absolutely my favorite X-Men adjacent character, well, I guess the cameo bait is working on me as it is with most everyone else. Since we've seen Professor X more recently, I'll slot him in at A, but Magneto, well, any iteration of Magneto deserves nothing less than the S tier. Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. This was another huge surprise. Of all the X-Men that could have appeared in this, I did not expect Nightcrawler to be one of them. An S-tier X-Men character like him deserves nothing less than the S tier, but it's hard to imagine he'll have a massive role. Hopefully at least one solid action sequence with some teleportation. Rebecca Romijn as Mystique. While I do like her version more than Jennifer Lawrence's, this announcement didn't really make me feel anything. I feel like a lot has already been done with that character through both interpretations, but we'll see. I'm certainly more excited to see her than other characters on this list, so C feels appropriate. James Marsden as Cyclops. Now, we all know he was done dirty by the poor writing in the first 3 movies, but after X-Men 97, I am more than ready to see a proper Cyclops characterization in live action, and it gives James Marsden another chance to prove himself as a great Cyclops casting, kind of like the Andrew Garfield treatment in No Way Home. A tier. Channing Tatum as Gambit. He made a name for himself out there and now he's going to continue doing just that. The clear standout of Deadpool and Wolverine will be doing that ridiculous voice again.
But you can call me the Gambit. I ain't know my daddy, but I'm sure I shot out of his dick ready. How long I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
And we're all going to eat it up. This is another easy S tier for me. And finally, Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. And the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I am not a comics aficionado. I only have a general idea of who Doom is, but there is something there about turning the MCU's greatest savior into its greatest villain. The Russos have stated that they found a way into this story. Robert Downey Jr. is nothing if not a tremendous actor, and obviously I want it to work. I want this to be a great movie, and Robert Downey Jr. is going to have to be a major part of that, and I can't say that I'm not excited to see that, especially after the leaked concept art, which is probably from Secret Wars rather than Doomsday. So RDJ as Doom, put him in S as well. So there it is, every confirmed actor for Doomsday, but maybe there's more coming because there are some glaring absences, including Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Deadpool and Wolverine, which I'm sure will fold into the greater equation eventually. We just have to wait and see, and we don't even have to wait that long, which worries me the most. Marvel's VFX artists, I am thinking of you. So who are you excited to see in Avengers Doomsday? Who do you think is a character that absolutely should have been part of this announcement? Where are all the women? But if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and comment, subscribe for more because I'm sure I'll do a grand MCU tier list before Doomsday comes out, and I'll see you in the next one.